everyone, so today I'm going to talk about a problem a lot of you struggle with, the body's addiction to sugar and generally speaking carbohydrates. So we're going to see how it works and what we can do to reverse the situation. So what we have to know is initially the human body is made to take most of its energy from fat. But the problem is that with the evolution of food industry, we had an increased access to high carbohydrates food, and it became the major part of our diet. So we use mainly carbohydrates to create energy, and our bodies forgot how to use the fat. So why is it a problem? The glucose coming from the carbohydrates is going to be stored in the bodies in the form of glycogen, but the problem is the glycogen stores are very limited. We have 100 grams in the liver, 300 to 400 grams in the muscle. That's not a lot at all, and it cannot sustain long duration efforts. So the problem is the stores are going to be quickly depleted, and as the body doesn't know how to use the fat, it's going to need to have carbohydrates very often. So we're like a car with a very small tank, and we need to go very often to the gas station in order to be able to go to the destination we've chosen. So that the same things happening in the body, your body is going to ask for carbohydrates, and that's when you're going to feel hunger, cravings, the need to eat sugar, carbs, fatigue, lack of productivity, headaches, bad mood, and so on. So that's a big problem on a daily basis. Another problem is the more you have carbohydrates, the more you have blood sugar, and you're going to have to secrete a lot of insulin because blood sugar is dangerous for the body. Insulin is going to tell the fat cells to keep the fat, store the fat, so that the body only uses this sugar as a source of energy. So that's going to bring you problems for fat loss, and indeed a lot of people who struggle with overweight, obesity, night cravings, and also diabetes have this kind of profile, and it is what we call sugar burner profile. So you definitely have to switch from this profile to what we call fat adapted profile. So how can we change this situation? Indeed, it's quite easy. You have to teach your body how to work how it is supposed to be, which is to say using the fat as a main source of energy. And it's not going to be a progressive process. It has to be quite brutal because your body is like a kid. It has to understand that once and for all it has to work in a different way. So what you're going to do is decrease significantly the carbohydrates intake, so that your body, because subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in such a perfect way that your body is never going to let itself die, and whatever the situation you are faced to, your body is going to find strategies to survive. So if you really lower the carbohydrates intake, your body is going to say, okay, I have no more carbohydrates, but things have to work. How shall I do? And that's when we're going to bring him fat, and the body's going to say, okay, we got fat, so let's learn how to use it again. And that's when you're going to switch from one profile to another. And the good news is when you switch to what we call fat adapted profile, your body doesn't forget how to use the carbs. So you'll be able to use mainly fat as a source of energy, but you're also able to use the glycogen when needed, for example, for intense efforts, because glycogen is a highly available, quickly available source of energy. So you win on all points. Once you switch to the fat adapted profile, you are flexible, you have less hunger, cravings, more energy, you can stay a longer time without eating, you can train fasting, and that's also one of the reasons why I advise you to do this before Ramadan, because indeed it's going to help you a lot with fasting, and believe me, it's going to change your life completely. So you definitely have to do it. But the thing you have to know is it's going to be a little bit difficult because sugar activates the same zones in the brain as drugs. So you'll feel very bad from a few days to a few weeks. Generally it takes from 1 to 3 weeks. You'll be tired, you'll have headaches, bad mood, and so on, and it's not a reason to quit because it's normal. It's the process, and once it's done, believe me, it's life-changing, but you have to know it's going to be difficult anyway. So I have to tell you, you have 2 errors that I want you to avoid. The first one is when you don't lower the carbohydrates enough. So your body is like a kid, as we say, and you have to make things clear. It's yes or it's no. If you still bring a little too much carbohydrates, your body is going to stay attached to the carbohydrates. It's not going to make the efforts to look for the fat. So you will be in between the two. You won't be fat adapted. You still have this carb addiction, but you will feel the fatigue and so on, and eventually you're going to quit. And that's the reason why some people fail with the low carb diet, because they didn't lower the carbs enough. And on the other side, they didn't have enough fat, and that's the second error, because you're not on a restrictive diet. We're changing the lifestyle. So if we're lowering the carbohydrates, we have to have more fats on the other side, because your body needs energy. So you really have to increase fats, and I know it's difficult mentally to change your mind, change your habits, because we've been told for so many years that we had to eat low fat, that fat is evil and so on, but believe me, fat is your friend. You have to increase the fat, so it's going to work and it's going to help you. Another thing you have to know, once switching from one profile to another, you can do the reverse. So once you're fat adapted, you have to stay on a low carb diet. Maybe not as low, but you have to stay on a low carb diet, like between 150, maybe 200 for some people grams of carbohydrates a day. But you have to stay on a low carb diet, otherwise it's not going to last forever. But believe me, once you've switched, you're never going to go back to your old habits, because it's life-changing, and you'll stay there and you'll see that you can really eat satisfying, tasty and good low-carb meal. Is totally possible. So, of course, when you talk about fat, it's healthy fat, but I don't have the time to give more detail about this. But anyway, that's the short story. I don't want to make a video that is too long, but I've given an awful lot of information on my Instagram account, on my Facebook account, for the French people, a lot of information on fitsister.fr, and I've also detailed a lot in my Healthy Ramadan Blueprint program. Actually, it's no more available because I'm working on improving the English version, and actually I hope I can propose to you an Arabic version in a few months, but stay tuned, because in a few months it's going to be available again. And anyway, if you have any questions or comment, please don't hesitate to put your question in the comments. And if you think that this video can be useful for anyone you know, please like, share and tag. And I'll see you later in another video.